the only way to tackle a project of this magnitude outside of the United States, or actually anywhere in the world, is to have the right people, the right equipment, and the right materials to pull off a monstrosity of a project like this. Check out all this incredible heavy equipment, including a 500-ton crane, which is actually the largest crane in the entire country. What's up, everybody? At the Pond Professor here, coming to you from southern Africa. It is smoking hot. It is 100 degrees. Things are in full swing out here on our amazing, and I mean an amazing project. The 500-ton crane has just arrived on site. Just got everything set up. Look at the size of that. Those counterweights on the back. I mean, it's just unbelievable. This thing's going to be able to move some massive, massive boulders for us. Plus, our large stones have just arrived from the mountaintop. So they just came in on a truck. We have 4 rocks, and we're still going larger than those. So these are the intermediate large ones that are actually going to set the stage in and around the bottom section of the waterfall. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We have to move soil, spread everything out. The guys over here are finishing up some brickwork. This is for access for cables and whatnot. All of those utilities are going through this little section, which is why we can't move the crane in too close. We don't want to damage those. Those would have been expensive to move, so we're just kind of leave that whole section alone. Oh, look at the size of this massive crane, just ridiculous. So we're gonna come in. Now we're getting some staging areas. We're also getting ready to set a few large rocks. That large one on the back, the big push for this, not only do we have a timeline for the project, but we also have timelines from the construction standpoint, from a sequencing standpoint. So we need to get the rock set on this side of this roadway so we could move this crane further back. Once the crane is further back, that will allow us to dig the wetland filter. So we need to have all these pieces falling in place. We had to have the concrete structure installed earlier than I wanted because of the amount of time it was going to take to build that. We have to think about all these different things, as well as the amount of time it's going to take to pull them off in order to make this project actually happen. Anthony, so what's the weight of this, the rock at the end of the truck there?
All right, this is 60 tons.
60 metric tons.
Yes, metric tons. 132,000 pounds.
132,000 pounds. This is officially the largest rock that we're setting, not only on this project, but that I've ever set. And we have bigger ones that are going to be coming.
Yes, there's bigger ones coming.
Crazy. What's our distance? So from where the crane is set up right now to the location where we're going to be setting it is how far?
So the rest is 25 meters.
25 meters.
And that is on the limits of the crane. So we can do the 59.8 tons and this is 60 tons. So it will be on the limit of the crane. And then this is a 500-ton motor.
And it seems, you know, what's interesting. So we were pushing the limit down there.
Yes.
So you said, let's get a 500-ton crane.
Yeah.
And now we're pushing the limit again.
Again on a 500.
Unbelievable.
So the next one is 1,750.
All right, everybody just stand clear. That's all I got to say. All right, thanks,
Okay.
Anthony. So the rock officially off the trailer. So now we have to position it. Safety, number one concern, clearly having the right rigging, but these guys, they normally don't move rock. They are moving heavy equipment. They work in the mining industry. They've worked in the oil industry, offloading large cargo ships with heavy payloads. Actually, I heard that they're offloading some giant turbines that are going to be used for wind farms. This machine is going to be mobilized and heading out over to the coast very, very shortly. So we want to take advantage of it. I mean, just look. that piece of rock right there. Absolutely beautiful. What I'm looking at right here is the bottom. It definitely would be more stable to go in a low position, but there is a rock face here on the property that I'm trying to mimic, and it is just a big monolithic piece that is kind of sticking outside of a mountain. That's kind of the goal with this rock, and we may have a couple of these. So we're going to set this one. We're going to see what it looks like. We'll evaluate. This is a very organic process, so we're always making modifications according to the design parameters. We have a rough idea of what we're doing, but it always comes down to the natural materials that we have available. Natural stone, it's not like building a retaining wall, you know, that you're using concrete blocks out of. So this is a natural material. The size, the shape, the positioning, and everything is going to be very, very unique according to each piece of stone. The key to any successful project of this magnitude is having the right equipment as well as people to pull the project off. So you can see what we have here. We have a 80-ton crane, the mobile rig, which is super versatile. We can get it into tight areas, but we have an incredible reach going out. So we could actually go out well over 100 feet, depending upon the weight, obviously. We did use this machine to set the 30-ton stone, which weighs 66,000 pounds. Again, that's 30 metric tons. So a 66,000 pound boulder. We were 100% pushing the limit with this machine because we ended up actually breaking the rollers on it just due to the extreme weight. But it's not just the weight, it was the distance that it was being set away from the front of the machine. But having those right equipment pieces is critical. The other pieces of equipment that we have here, bunch of cat equipment, which you know I'm a huge fan of cat. We did some incredible work over at Aqualand as well as a series of regional events, Pondemoniums, etc., working directly with cat. So this is a 306.5, which is actually very versatile. This is a typical machine that we're going to use on residential projects in and around the country. But on a project of this scale, it's also very versatile because we have the bigger machines, which will do the large excavation, the larger gross excavation processes, setting some of the large boulders, etc. Then we come in with the smaller or medium machines to fill in between. So you can see Patrick over here right now pulling out this large rock and repositioning it. We are masters of our art, so we're going to set a stone, we're going to look at it, we're going to reevaluate it, and if it doesn't work, we're going to move it. In this particular instance, it was a little bit too big for that location, so we're going to move it to a secondary location. But you can see the versatility of this incredible piece of equipment there. Now, rigging is also very important. You can see we're using a series of endless loop straps. We use these on a wide variety of our projects. These are just supersized according to the size boulders that we're going to be working with. And then we have some different connecting points, shackles, chains, etc., that will be used for that placement of stone. All right, we got Joey operating the other 306. So we have two of these small minis on site. He's doing some of the finer detail work by doing excavation over here. This is going to be for the secondary pool. So here is the Cat 352, tiny little stepping stone on top of it. This guy could move a 15-ton boulder fairly easily. Massive bucket, several cubic yards, and we could do some serious excavation. We're using this machine to actually dig out the large reservoirs, the wetland filter, the 50,000 gallon underground tank, large boulder placement, etc. So it's very versatile. All right, so I am here with Tim from Garden State Koi. He is one of the guys out here. He's a master builder, has been building for decades. Tim, show us what you're doing with the zip level.
So what this is, instead of a laser, this is called a zip level. It runs on a water line, and right now I'm setting it on the spillway stone, and if I hold down the 0 button, what's going to happen, it's going to beep and it's going to zero out. When that zeroes out and it says 0 on the screen, well, now I'm raising it up, so it's telling me that I'm actually 19 inches above that stone. So when I zeroed it out, that was my benchmark. And I'm coming over here and I'm working with Joey Genovese here, and we're excavating the stream. So we're looking to be around 25 to 27 inches deep here. The boulders are very large. After zeroing out the zip level on the spillway stone over there, we come down here and place it. And now you can tell that this soil is negative 24.5 inches from that spillway stone. It's a great thing because we can work around all the machines because we don't have to worry about the sight line at the laser level. So this is one of my first times working with one. This thing is pretty cool.
Well, I gotta gotta say, it is super nice having these smaller machines on this project, but I want to touch base with you guys and see how much logistics go into this project. I know Ed has talked about it multiple times. We have some big pieces of equipment out here, but it's also key having these smaller machines out here, especially the skid steer and the 306 behind me, especially coming in here, dropping in a lot of these smaller boulders, and especially backfilling back behind these massive boulders and up against these edges. Everyone back at home usually sees us using 5-gallon buckets, and these our skid steers are pretty much our 5-gallon buckets that we're using to backfill everything. We're gonna kind of get in here. We kind of have a pathway. We know how wide our skid steer is, and that's pretty much how wide we're setting our boulders. So it's kind of cool seeing the skid steer slide in between these big massive boulders, pretty much as big as a skid steer and weigh probably double the size of it too. Definitely really cool. Really interesting seeing all this pieces of equipment. I know for a lot of us out here, this is the only time that we've ever seen this much of equipment in such a small area, and especially how big some of the stuff is that we're working with. So definitely a massive project with massive amounts of machinery, and it's turning out absolutely incredible.
You got the little skid steer for filling in, then you got the big Cat 966 way back over here. That has those giant forks on it. Those forks are over 6.5 feet long, so 2 meters in length. So that allows us to pick up all of these big boulders. Some of the other equipment we have on site, very versatile. We have a backhoe loader, so that gives us a lot of versatility for doing any trenching if we need to. We also have the bucket on the front, which we can change out to forks for moving different pallets of equipment. Now, speaking of the wheel loader, again, typically not going to have this on a residential project. These are more on commercial scale, used in the mining industry around the world. Cat 966. This has got, again, massive bucket. It allows us to bring in bulk material. We have compost over here. We have sand. We have clay. We have river stone. We have crushed rock. We could move massive quantities of material very, very quickly, as well as take away excavated soil, and we could move it off a site. Now, what we are going to be doing here, you can see this cave structure behind me. We're going to be burying this entire structure. We have to bring in over 1,800 to 2,000 cubic yards of soil to completely bury that structure. That's going to be 70 truckloads a day for 20 to 25 days non-stop. So 70 truckloads. And when I'm saying a truckload, it's a big earth moving equipment that we could hold 30 cubic yards in the back of those. So here's the little Yamaha Rhino. We have coolers inside of here for our water. We're bringing aqua blocks. We're shuffling people around, using this to run up and check on rock, zipping around into little tight locations. We also have the Toyota Land Cruisers, which are a staple here in Southern Africa. Very, very durable vehicle. I actually have my Toyota Tacoma back in the States, which I love. This is Africa's version. Actually has the snorkel assembly on it so it can go through water. 4-wheel drive, very, very durable machine.